Rahad Atta was a 42-year-old man whose typical day ranged from waking up at 7, travelling to the trade centre where he held the job of IQ Financial System for an 8 a.m. start. But today, September 11, he differed from his normal routine, and it turned out to be a day he would never forget. Rahad had gone out on a date the night before, come home late, and forgot to set his alarm. It was 7:47 a.m. when he woke up in a panic, and he quickly showered and got dressed. By the time he left his apartment, it was 8:23 a.m. and he rushed down to the coffee shop at ground floor, where the line that morning was unusually long. After his late night, he needed his daily coffee badly to keep him alert. He made the decision to wait in the long queue for his usual long black, completely unaware that this was the focal point where his life would change forever. At 8:46 a.m, he was nearing the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Rahad Atta heard the threatening roar of a low-flying aircraft. It seemed to be an ordinary passenger plane. He stood and watched in horror as the force of the plane was absorbed and it demolished into the North Tower, setting off an immediate raging inferno with pieces of aircraft, the smell of jet fuel, and burnt victims running through the building. Rahad immediately went to their aid and helped the bleeding and dazed people evacuate from the destroyed building. Time went past so quickly, and he felt that he was living in a nightmare. It was 17 minutes later when another passenger plane flew in to the South Tower. The noise, the screams, the shock, the people, the sights, the sirens, the absolute destruction and the total collapse of the buildings would be imprinted in his mind forever. Years on, the events of this day haunt Rahad every day and have had a devastating effect on his life. Rahad developed an aversion to planes and cannot bear to hear a plane in the air, let alone being on one. If he hears any loud noises or engines, it triggers repeatedly in his mind the sight of both planes ploughing through the towers and the resulting deafening noise, the smell, the rumbling of the ground, injured people falling or jumping from the building. When travelling by bus or train on a long journey, he is still subjected to body searches and other strict security measures, purely because of his name. He is always held up and his belongings searched. Rahad had to give his children anglicised names when they were born, rather than the traditional Middle Eastern names. This was so they would not have to endure the prejudiced and unjust and the dishonourable treatment that they have had to go through. After the terrible events of 9/11, wherever he goes out in public, he has been scrutinised, bullied and bad-mouthed for being a Muslim, and he is usually targeted by young males, saying, "You are just another one of them." Rahad had developed an aversion to venturing out to the shops or where there are crowds, and for this reason only feels safe when he uses his local corner shop. An extra hardship for Rahad is that he has not been employed since the incident and has to rely on benefits so that he and his family can exist. In public, frequently random people brand him as a terrorist by shouting abuse and throwing things at him. This has made him very depressed and is on strong medication to help. He has developed a phobia and physiological problems and thinks that everyone is staring at him and judging him, and that is why they will not talk or sit next to him. Muslims are hated because now in society, and he wonders if all this is happening because people think he is true to the radical Muslim beliefs and has the same thoughts as a terrorist. This could not be further from the truth for Rahad, as he too was sickened by the terrorist actions that day. His loyalty to his homeland was questioned, and he made the choice to give his loyalty and patriotism to the US. Rahad just wants to live the life in peace and be left alone. He is always on the alert for any unusual Muslims' activities, and he would be the first to report it to the authorities. He does not trust anyone these days. While Rahad was not physically harmed on this fatal day, he lost 16 co-workers, an uncle who was an emergency firefighter, and many friends. Although he is mentally scarred, Rahad was thankful that the alarm that morning had not gone off.